Let's talk about one of the most interesting and fascinating stories in the history of record manufacturing. X-ray records, or as they're often referred to as bone records. You might have heard about them, you might have seen them on display in the Cold War Museum in Berlin, but what's the story about records made out of X-ray film? In the 50s and 60s of the last century, music from the Western Hemisphere wasn't available in the Soviet Union. It was not allowed to be listened to and it was banned. But since music is universal language that doesn't stop before borders, some of the rock and roll records and early psychedelic records of the 50s and 60s found their ways into the hands of music lovers in the Soviet Union, who immediately thought about how to replicate them and share them with their friends. Tape recording wasn't invented yet, and the record pressing facilities were in the hands of the government that had fully control over it. So these people got creative. They used turntables and turned them into cutting lathes to cut records at home. The surface that they used was X-ray film. They were shaped to 7-inch size, usually cut 1 or 2 songs, and then they used cigarettes to burn holes in the middle of it. But why did it work? The material X-ray film is made of is celluloid nitrate, or was celluloid nitrate, and later became celluloid acetate. This material is pretty much identical to what we're using as coating for lacquer discs that are being used even nowadays to cut records. The quality of these bone records was bad. It was full of hiss, it was full of crackle, but it helped spreading the true vibe and the true spirit of rock and roll among communist Soviet Union. And maybe that was one of the first steps to overcome Cold War.